Once upon a time in the quiet village of Eldamore, there lived two childhood friends, Elara and Miron. They had grown up side by side, their laughter echoing through the fields as they played under the warm sun. Their bond was unbreakable, or so it seemed. They shared secrets, dreams, and promises of forever. But little did Elara know, beneath Miron's charming smile and kind words, a secret festered that would soon destroy everything they held dear. Miron had always been ambitious, dreaming of a life beyond the borders of Eldamore. But Elara, content with her simple life, wanted nothing more than to stay in the village and keep her heart close to those she loved. She didn't understand why Miron wanted to leave, but she never questioned him, until the day the offer came. One evening, a messenger arrived at their door, bearing a letter for Miron. It was an invitation to join a powerful and wealthy merchant in a far-off city, a place where dreams could come true and fortunes could be made. The opportunity was too great to turn down. Miron's eyes sparkled as he read the letter, but a shadow crossed his face when Elara asked if he would return. "Of course I will," Miron promised, his voice steady. "Eldamore is home. But this is a chance to make something of myself." Elara smiled, even though a part of her felt a twinge of unease. She hugged him tightly, unaware that this would be their last embrace. Weeks passed, and Elara's days were filled with longing. She missed Miron terribly, the emptiness growing in her heart with each passing day. She received occasional letters from him, but the distance between them began to feel like an insurmountable chasm. Miron's words grew colder, more distant, until they stopped altogether. Then, one fateful evening, a figure arrived at her doorstep. It was a woman, elegant, sharp-eyed, and carrying an air of sophistication. She introduced herself as Sylvie, a servant of the merchant Miron had gone to work for. With a strange look in her eye, Sylvie handed Elara a letter from Miron. But this letter was unlike any Elara had ever received. Miron wrote that he had found a new life, one that didn't include her. The dreams they had shared, the promises they had made, were nothing more than fleeting memories to him now. His heart had changed, and he had no place for her in it. Crushed, she collapsed. Tears blurred her vision as she thought of the love that had once been. How could he betray her like this? As she wept, Sylvie watched from a distance. With a cold smile, she stepped forward. "You were never meant to be his true love, Elara," she said, her voice like ice. "Miron was always meant for greater things. You were just a stepping stone." Elara looked up, confused. "What do you mean? You're lying." Sylvie chuckled darkly. "No, dear, I'm not. Miron was always a man of ambition. But what you didn't know is that he and I, well, we had a different arrangement. He betrayed you for power and wealth. All those letters he sent you, lies. He knew you'd hold on to him, and that was part of the plan." The words hit Elara like a sharp blade. Her mind reeled. The love she had believed in, the friendship she had nurtured, had all been a cruel illusion. She had been nothing more than a pawn in Miron's game. Miron had never planned to return. He had used her to get where he wanted, knowing she would never suspect his betrayal. And now, as he sat in a mansion in a city far away, she was nothing but a distant memory. But Elara wasn't one to be broken forever. She wiped away her tears, stood tall, and faced the woman before her. "I may have been betrayed," she said, her voice shaking but resolute, "but I will rebuild. I will show him that I am not weak. I will rise." And so, Elara did. She left Eldamore and traveled far, learning the ways of business, diplomacy, and strength. She built her own empire from the ashes of her broken heart. Years later, she returned to Eldamore, not as the naive girl who had once trusted Miron, but as a woman of power, unyielding in her resolve. One day, she stood in front of a mansion, the very same one where Miron had once sought his fortune. As she gazed at the grand structure, she saw him, a shadow of the man he once was, his eyes filled with regret. He had failed, and his wealth had not saved him from the emptiness inside. Miron approached her, his face pale and drawn. "Elara," he whispered, "I made a terrible mistake. Please, can we start over?" Elara looked at him, her heart hardened by the years of betrayal. She had learned that some wounds could never be healed, that some bridges, once burned, could never be crossed again. "You had your chance," she said coldly. I've moved on." With that, she turned and walked away, leaving Miron to face the consequences of his actions. The betrayal had broken her once, but it would never break her again. And as the sun set over the horizon, Elara knew that true strength came not from holding on to the past, but from letting go and building a future of her own.